finds you well. You know, I have to start this out by saying we live in a great country. We've been through a lot. We probably got a lot yet to go through, but I'm seeing more and more people are coming together and helping each other, helping businesses. One suggestion is if you got restaurants you like, go get to go. Those waitresses, everybody in that restaurant needs to earn their money. They need to have a job. And so just think of things like that we can do to help each other. Because, hey, we are the home of the brave and the land of the free. So although we're not too free lately as we're confined to home for the most part, but we'll get through it. And want to cover a few things today that I think are important. I know I probably covered them on our phone conversations together, but I wanted to make sure I get this out on a regular basis. And you're going to start getting these from me now that I've got the technology and the setup to send this to you. So this will be a regular way from now on I communicate with you versus having to call each one of you individually. So today we're at the end of a quarter. It's been a pretty tumultuous quarter. Started out the year with a great up in the stock market. And then long about the end of January, when all this virus stuff started coming in, things started dropping with the fear. And then early March, it really hit. And so we've seen in the last week, the market rebound, some days pretty solidly. Today, like I said, was the end of the quarter and was down slightly. But we got to talk about, where we're going now, because as we went through our process, when we set everything up, we had our insured items and our non-insured items. Now, our insured items, let's talk about those. And those are our annuities, our CDs, government bonds. You'll be happy to know we haven't seen any fluctuation in those. Those are doing exactly as we wanted them to do. They're protecting and preserving our money. And that's important. And now on the non-insured items, and again, this is those things other than common stocks. Our bonds, our preferreds, initially, even they took a hit because there was a lot of panic selling, a lot of people calling their mutual funds and cashing out, a lot of people calling their bond funds. And if you remember our talk about bond funds, they've got to sell them, and they sell them at a discount. And that is bad timing. When we look at why we chose these non-insured items that we did, like bonds and preferred stocks, is because they have a par value. And that par value is the issue value. Now, a common stock only has a par value the day that they're issued, or for accounting reasons, which may be a penny if you look at the certificate. But what's key is we've got a par value. So as long as we hold on to those items, we get our money back and we get our set return. And we get a dollar return, not a percentage. So for example, a $25 preferred, if it has a 6% dividend on it, that 6% dividend is 6% of $25. So if it goes up to 30, if it goes up down to 20, it's still the same 6% of $25. That's the key. That's why investing for income is very critical. And that's why we chose those items. So again, we saw some fluctuations in those, some pretty hard fluctuations because of liquidity issues. A lot of people were panic selling. Hopefully that panic selling part's over. So when we look at the experiences in 2008, our preferreds and bonds went down there. But because of their par value, because of their set dividends and interest, they came back faster for the most part than common stocks. Now let's talk about our others, like our BDCs. BDCs got hit pretty hard because of panic selling. Those are mostly retail products for retail investors, not institutional investors. But the key of those is even though the price may have dropped, we hold on to those. The par value of the mortgage, or the loans in those held. Because when you were in 2008 and you had a mortgage and your bank decided to sell that mortgage, they may have sold it at a deep discount, but didn't change your mortgage. You still owed the same amount of money and still paid the same amount of interest. And that's how it works with the BDCs that we're in. So even though, again, those got hit hard, we just sit on them and collect the interest and wait for them to come back. So as we look forward and what's coming, is the volatility over? I would think not. There's some good things that have happened. The stimulus bill passed this week. There's a lot in it that's good, a lot of it debatable. Fortunately, a lot of the garbage got thrown out of it, but there's still a lot of spending in there. And some of the key items are giving money and cash for businesses to help them with their cash flow, and money to individuals. Now, the key question there is, when they get that money, are they going to spend it or save it? We'll see, because they're doing that to keep the money flowing and to keep the financial plumbing moving. And that's real critical. So again, is volatility over? I hardly think so. They're now saying we may peak in this in a couple of weeks. I hope that's the case. I hope we have as few deaths as possible. As dire as they make it, actually, if you look at the statistics of not just the number of cases, but the cases per million people, we're not nearly high on the list as the bad news would show that it is. So as we go forward, one thing to look at is that we're invested for income, and our focus is on income. And if you remember that equation, TR equals I plus G. Total return is income plus growth. We're on the income side. And these fluctuations can happen. This is somewhat of a black swan event, which is an event that you can't see happening. You know, the mortgage crisis we could see happening. It was coming. It was the Bear Stearns crash that really sent it into a tailwind, and sent people panicking. So just keep a steady head. We're looking at our portfolio on a regular basis. We're examining the cash flow and liquidity needs of each of these companies, just like your cash flow at home. When you look out, how many months can you go without any income? That's your cash flow needs. Well, we're looking at these companies' balance sheets, their cash flow statements. We're seeing where they've got it, where they've got their funds, and we're monitoring that on a regular basis. And what we're seeing overall, we like what we see. And there have been a couple of issues with a couple of companies that we sold. We'll be looking at those continuously. And so what we're looking at is making sure these companies can continue paying their dividends and interest, and we'll be monitoring that. So when we meet, we'll be discussing that. It's also another reason why we've only got a small portion of your portfolio in any one issues, because one of the negative sides of bonds and bond-like instruments is you could have a default. Companies do occasionally go out of business, and that could be an issue. But we have only purchased a certain amount, a very small percentage in any one issue to help negate that. So again, I'm sending this video just to communicate with you, just to open up the lines, and you're going to be getting these regular now. And just remember this, we'll make it through this. If you're in our sound income portfolio, then you understand this. In reality, I've gotten very few calls from people because they understand where we are and how we're positioned. Most of the communications come when I've called them. And read the newsletters, because over the last 6 months, I've been covering these issues in the newsletter. I know you probably get inundated with email, but we put a lot of time and effort in that newsletter to keep you up to date each month on what's going on. So keep that in mind. So as we close here, I just want to let everybody know, I want to thank you for your support during this time. I want to give you all the support we can give you at my office, and leave you with this. As I opened with, remember, this is a time to come together. I'm reading stories of families doing stuff together. And, you know, when you're stuck in the house together, I saw a funny meme on Pinterest that said, you know, I've had to spend a lot of time with my family lately, and I've discovered they're not too bad of people. So just remember that. And if somebody in your neighborhood needs help, if there's an elderly person needs you to shop for them, if you need to deliver some toilet paper to them, you know, I think we're starting to see a little more of that in the stores now. But if you've got questions, and we haven't talked lately, I will continue to reach out to you. But anytime that you need to talk, give me a call. I'll be happy to make time. I am working, and my team is working from home several days a week. I'm in the office meeting with a very few number of people, usually low-risk people that don't have any health ailments that we need to do things in person. I'm doing a lot more over the internet with GoToMeetings. So there are many ways that I'm beginning to reach out and do reviews using technology. But I want to make this clear. If you've got questions, you need to talk to me. You give me a call. And good luck to y'all. Stay healthy, and God bless you.